we can do a $2,000 shoot in 2 hours now. With somebody newer, it's going to take 3 to 4. But once you get good at it, it's a 2-hour process. If you want to sell $2,000 in Florida in this market, you would probably have to do, it had to be a big house. It's a lot of photos. You're probably throwing Matterport in there, and you're probably throwing some sort of MLS video in there. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of people. It's a lot of complexity. I mean, going home, like, let's be real. Who has done a service, who has done a service where you're doing photos in Matterport, and then you go home, not your team member, you go home, and then you have to upload everything to where it belongs. Like, how, at some point, it just gets draining. Who's tired of that? Is it exhausting, or is it extremely exhausting? It's like pulling out your hair, you know? It is not easy going on Dropbox, and you got to go to Matterport, then you got to go to Cubicasa, then you got to check the floor plan. You know, here's what you don't want to be doing forever. You know, and like I said, if it works for you, cool. And I'm happy for you that it works. But I'm just saying if you're open to looking at it from a new perspective, there may be a better way. Has anybody delivered a floor plan which you told the agent, you should have told the agent that it's an artistic approach, right? It's an artistic estimate. It's not perfect. It's a Cubicasa. I'm running around with my phone, right? Has anyone done a floor plan and the floor plan didn't turn out perfect and the agent calls you and asks you to fix it and you have to start photoshopping? They're like, oh, you know, if you look at the records, it's actually this big, so you need to start. Has anyone been there? Like, it's actually, and then you're out there on Photoshop, or you're using your VA, and your VA is trying to fix a floor plan, or you're doing the photography, and you miss an attic in the garage, and they're like, you know, the photographer missed the attic in the garage, and who goes back to usually get the attic in the garage? Who goes back? The owner goes back, because it's really not even fair for you to send your photographer back to go get the attic in the garage that nobody even knew existed. So it's you. So you're doing all this work. You're uploading Vimeo. It's too much work. Or you could just sell it for $2,000. You shoot it in 2 hours. You go home. You edit it. It's a better process. Is anybody hearing me? There it is. All right. Let's look at the next one. So we got some objections. You know, the first one is, you know, I don't want to spend that much money on one reel. The reason why I put this next to a la carte is because the reason you're getting this, I don't know. It just seems like a lot of money. Has anyone ever got that? Like, you're like trying to sell the 910 way, you're like, yeah, it just seems like a lot of money for one reel. It's because you didn't sell, that's why I put earlier in, you didn't sell them a brand vision. And here's, you know, do you think it would be easier to sell a brand vision if you've built your business off of your brand? Do you think it's easier to sell a brand vision if they're calling you because they recognize you from your brand? Do you think it's easier? Do you think that you can share your spoken oracle and testimony of your own brand and what it's done for you even 6 months into your journey? Do you think that agents can realize that because you're building your brand, that you're being more successful than other videographers and that you may understand the game of not just video? Because here's the thing, you don't just understand the game of video and editing, you understand the game of brand. It's huge. That's why you have to be a practitioner. That's why it's a process. That's why this won't work for you. That's why we have to be integrity with the value of our services will not work for you if you don't build a brand. And I've been telling you guys to do it. And most people are taking action, but there's still people who are sitting on the sidelines and are waiting and think that ads are going to be the answer. Ads are not going to be the answer. You know what happens when you do ads? When you do ads and you have an organic brand, it's like putting things on steroids. It's unfair. It's an unfair ad. Like, literally, when we run ads for Studio 910, we have to turn them off because we get too many leads. I'm not kidding. That's how many organic leads that we get. So ads are very helpful, but they have to be built off of an organic brand. So that's huge. So here's how to master the phone call. This is going to be like the best game you've ever received in this game. So everybody be ready, write things down. So here it is. First thing is a curiosity question. So before we see any of the curiosity questions, just think about this. How did we get on this phone call? They either called us as a cold lead because they found our website on our Instagram or on the website. Because remember, in order to build a brand, in order to have a successful business in 2025 and beyond, you need to have a good portfolio, you need to have a good website and a good Instagram. If you have a good website and a good Instagram, your website will have your information on it, and you will start getting calls all day long. At 910, do you guys see the phone answering calls all day long? Because you guys all have, it's just crazy. It's like too many calls, right? And then also the DMs, they're gonna say, what do you charge for reel? It's like they never have they never open up the conversation a different way. They just ask, what do you charge? Anyone getting questions like that? What do you charge? Okay, so this is what you do. You get on the phone call with them. The first question that you're going to ask them, this is literally setting the frame for the entire conversation. Here's the first question. What about our videos caught your attention? Right, you build a little bit of rapport, right? The first question you do is you say, what about our videos caught your attention? They're going to give you some answers like, man, I really like the music. Like the music is just so engaging. They're going to say like the editing, it just looks so smooth and the colors and it's just so much better. So you are setting up the conversation for you not to fail. Because why are they going to say that's a lot of money for one reel when you've sold the brand vision and they really like the music? Here's the next one. I love this one. This one is a trap, right? But it's going to be huge for you, right? So, how did you hear about us? Was it through a friend or was it through somewhere else? Right? The reason why I say that is a friend, right? The friend is supposed to be a realtor, right? How did you hear about us? Was it through a friend or was it through somewhere else, right? When you ask that question, how did you hear about us? What are they going to say? They're going to say Instagram. You get Google every once in a while, but they're going to say Instagram. Do you think that sets you up for success to sell one reel for $2,000 or whatever your happy price is? 100%. So before we move on from this, the curiosity, you're in the curiosity stage. You're getting on the phone with somebody. You got to ask one or two questions. And then when you get good at this, you can freestyle, right? You can freestyle and you can start to speak a little French. But here it is. What about our videos caught your attention? This is going to set up the frame for the whole call. And then you say, or you can say, how did you hear about us? These two questions are extremely powerful and you'll want to remember. So active listening is huge. You'll want to remember the exact questions and the exact answers that went on in the call. Because later on in these next steps, you're going to need to know these information. Like this information will be so important. You need this. So don't forget it, right? Remember their name. Okay, and also, before you answer the phone, does anybody feel like no one cares anymore? Like, if you call Best Buy, they don't answer. They have no answering. You can call the store, they can't answer anymore. It goes to like the Philippines. Nobody cares anymore. You ever notice like after COVID that the whole world just stopped caring? So what's rare? People that care. Do you guys care in this room? Yes. Right? So you guys care in this room. Do you know how rare that makes you? So this is really important. When you say like, what about our videos caught your attention? Like you ask out of a curiosity, curious tone. Like the tonality is really huge. What about our videos caught your attention? You build rapport off the phone. Hey, this is Claudia. I really appreciate you calling. And who do I have the pleasure of speaking with? Oh, this is Jennifer from Compass. Oh, great. Yeah, it's so great to hear from you. How did you hear about us? Was it through a friend or, was it from somewhere else?